What's good with y'all, collective? Welcome to the Spiritual Energetic Analyzer channel. I will be giving an inspirational message here. Y'all probably can't see me that good, but just pay attention to the message on what I got to say. When it comes to this energy, Father God, protect me and my energy. I do not allow any negative intentions to be sent my way while I do this inspirational speech. Okay, may Mother Earth, Father God, Saint Michael Archangel block it for me. But anyways, when it comes to a fairly new individual, y'all, this individual has trouble with admitting to their wrongs, which is a side of narcissism. So whoever this individual is definitely has a lot of insecurities on admitting that the fact that they're wrong, that they have made a wrong decision, and they know intuitively that they made a wrong decision when it comes to that too, because believe it or not, this individual is not ignorant to the fact of what they've been doing. That right there proves that they have some intellectual skill about them because they're clearly aware. Because I'm going to tell you why they're aware. I'm going to back up the facts of why this individual, why I know damn well they're aware of what they was doing because they planned it out. If somebody has the skill enough to plan out some type of underhanded tactic, they damn well are aware of what they're doing. I'll tell you, bro, that manipulative BS does not fly with me whatsoever. As a fixed sign, I love being a fixed sign, bro. I love being a Scorpio, man, especially with all those other Scorpio placements in my chart. That right there, bro, it just makes me very fixed, but it's not in a negative, toxic type of way. But what I'm trying to let people know out there is when it comes to this type of energy, they need to take heed and to learn the lesson because it's going to continuously be faced with them. Some of you out there literally have an incredibly strong spirit that can inspire people, but this individual is just refusing right now. They know intuitively that they need to make some adjustments when I'm channeling intuitively. So they intuitively know that they need to make a little bit of adjustments on themselves, but they're still refusing to acknowledge the fact that you're right. It's like, they don't really want to listen, but yet they're trying to play it off as if they're not listening, which is still in the lines of narcissism. Because if they're still ignoring and avoiding, that is still rejecting the truth. This individual is not going to have success with you as long as they keep on denying something. This individual much rather get in the Seven of Swords energy and take off, knowing damn well that they were sneaky and underhanded, and yet try to play it off as if it wasn't like that. Yes, it was like that. They're just trying to make it seem that way is because their plans have been exposed. Their plans have been well figured out long before they even got started, because they have to remember, not everybody out there is ignorant to the truth. Not everybody out there is like the average person, like they're used to dealing with on a daily basis. And especially if you can figure somebody out spiritually, because they're too busy trying to manipulate and play in your energy to try to get your attention. And yet whatever you be showing them, they think that they're getting something. They think that they're having some type of leeway, but yet it's always backfired. And this is something right here that is catching the individual off guard. And they may be annoyed at the fact that you're keeping up at your job. You are continuously working at your job. You are continuously moving forward in your life. And they're annoyed by that. I'm going to tell you why they're annoyed. Because you clearly don't let the individual have the power over you to affect you to the point to where it makes you angry. Because the whole part in trying to underhandedly get you to conversate with them was for them to ignore you and play it off as if they didn't do anything for you to try to message. That is a narc. It's a spiritual narc. I'm going to bring it to the light. Because they have a such thing as a physical mind manipulative narcissist, and they also have a such thing as a spiritual narcissist. And this is the type of individuals that if somebody's not spiritual, they won't be able to handle or to defeat this type of energy. But when it comes to our high ranking in the spirit world, and we know what energy manipulation really is because we have had to rank up from dealing with several of people like that as try to play around in our energy in the past, therefore taught us a valuable lesson. That when energy is fluid, you won't feel conflict. If something is simply meant to be, the universe will allow it to flow naturally. If something feels restricted, if something feels like it's too much of a problem to go through, it's because there's something wrong with the energetic flow of energy. It could be you, it could be the other person. But whoever is not aligning with the universal flow or spiritual law when it comes to energy, that right there is going to put a halt in a connection. That right there is going to cause a form of stagnancy in a connection, because a connection cannot fully be manifested on both ends if the individual don't have genuine intentions that aligns with the universal and spiritual law frequency. That's what I'm trying to let y'all know. So that right there is going to give people some valid enough information and advice. I mean, you can take it however you want to take it, okay? Because it is neutral information. It can be taken good or bad, however. But just like I said before, I don't know everything. I just know what I learned from experience, which gives me that wisdom to gladly teach y'all about the knowledge that I've learned within experience, okay? But mixing it in with wisdom too, okay? It's kind of philosophical in a way. But believe it or not, bro, some of these individuals literally get bored. They're bored with people that they can't control. They get bored, like they lose the fun. You're no fun because you're not a dummy. You're not a doormat. You're not somebody that they could just jerk all over. And when they say jump, you ask how high. You're not one of these type of individuals. And this right here is no fun. It's boring. It's boring. But guess what? Would you much rather this individual be bored by your boundaries and bored by the fact that you know things, that you're very smart? Because a smart individual will get a ways in their life because they won't be dumb enough to deal with heartbreak. Because I'm going to tell you right now, heartbreak doesn't exist to an intelligent, wise individual because they know and have that foresight vision, because having experience within judging themselves opens their spiritual senses to a different realm of dimension. And what then happens is the individual learns about energies, therefore activates their foresight vision, which will represent the third eye, which has the ability to see through energies, frequencies, and knows things before they happen, which is considered clairvoyant, foresight vision. Now, when it comes to psychic hearing, that would be clairaudience. They call that clairaudience as far as psychic hearing. Hearing the spirit world, hearing your angels give you guidance and messages through ear ringing. That would be clairaudience, ear ringing, which are representing psychic hearing. That's how you receive downloads, because it's basically just like somebody contacting you on the phone and your phone rings. That right there is a spiritual phone call coming from the spirit world to give you information. Now, it all depends on what frequency of information is being passed to you, because it could be coming from negative entities or it could be coming from a positive energy. Okay? But it's for you to use your level of discernment spiritually to see what's really going on, to see through the frequency of information that's being sent to you from the spiritual dimension. Okay? Now, getting back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, when it comes to this individual that may have some form of experience in magic and stuff like that, like I've been picking up on my, not even in the individual sign reads, but I've just been picking that up in a collective read. Because some of the individuals these days love to use magic in order to try to manifest something. I can understand that to a certain extent. But when it comes to wishing for something and not going after something, why are they trying to manifest something to start with when they have zero intentions on physically communicating with you? The only other thing that I can interpret is because they don't have genuine intentions to start with. Because if somebody had genuine intentions from the jump, they would have been unassociated with you on a physical level. There wouldn't be no type of magic. I mean, if they did use magic, then they would go through with a message as to say, hey, how's it going? So therefore, they would have took physical action. But still, though, they still had the guts enough to take that physical action. But yet somebody that is trying to do something on a spiritual level to get you to go to them, and yet them not take any physical action or give any signs of wanting to have anything to do with you, but yet give off these mixed frequencies and signals in the spirit world that you clearly are aware of because of your vision being that sharp, which is the Ace of Swords, and the High Priestess energy with the Hierophant. You are somebody that clearly knows how to discern why the individual wanted you to conversate with them firsthand. And the only other thing that it's going to link back to is a form of gaining power and control over you, because they know and they fear your power, and they fear how much control you have over your own reality. And this individual, since they wanted to challenge and test you that way, you literally out-stubborn them and challenged them to the extreme and defeated them. By you being that powerful, you being that aware and having that much knowledge on what was really going on when you couldn't even physically see it. Bro, think about how much power you really have to defeat something when it can't even physically be seen, bro. See, this is where some of you are dangerous. This makes you an incredibly dangerous individual. It's all from how much you're aware, because awareness is key. Being hyper vigilant on your surroundings when it comes to spiritual information, spiritual frequencies, spiritual energies, that right there is what's key to a whole nother universe or dimension. Because when you in another dimension, bro, when you know how to time travel to another dimension and to receive this type of information long before it can physically affect you, and yet you combat it and defeat it on a spiritual level, it stands no chance for defeat in the physical, because you already won that victory. Ooh, ooh, come on, spirit, come through. Ooh, come through. I'm telling you, bro, not everybody is going to be able to get down with somebody that's spiritual like you, that has that wisdom. Not everybody out there is going to be able to get down with who you really are as a person. And what I just described, how I just explained it through the frequency and energies, that right there is key to what's really going on. Just like I said, you have the key to a certain frequency, a certain energy, and a certain dimension that you can actually travel to in order to protect yourself, because that's your power. That's your God-gifted power. And there's a lot of things, bro, that you can use with your intuitive radar, because it operates exactly like a compass. It operates exactly like it gives you directions. It's like a GPS signal and a compass. You know how they got the compass, right? You got the north, south, west, or whatever it is. You got north, south, east, west, and stuff like that. You got your compass. That's exactly what your intuitive radar works as on a spiritual level. It helps guide you. It helps guide you on a spiritual level. It helps protect you and to have foresight vision of things happening long before they happen. And that right there is what is protecting you from the situation of somebody trying to possibly get your attention, or to get you to communicate, or to go along with some form of action, or take some form of action. When if you was to take action, that right there would give the individual power. That right there would give the individual control, something that they was looking for. They wasn't really looking to connect to you on a genuine, authentic level, because if they did, they would have been the ones getting off their backside associating with you, but yet they chose to sit back and to see what they could try to do to you in order to try to gain some form of power and acknowledgement from you. So that right there has been exposed through your vision. And that right there makes the individual look even more, it makes them look bad. It makes them look exactly how they are. That other people clearly don't see, because they don't see this individual like you do. Because they don't have the scales lifted off their eyes, bro. They don't have the scales lifted off their eyes. And if this individual is involved in some type of false form or false enlightenment or spirituality, and they're only working around magic and manifestation and working around the new moon phases, the moon phases and stuff like that, that right there is going to attract other people that's exactly like them. They're not going to get the real deal. Because guess who's protecting you? God's protecting you. God knows better. God knows when something is real and authentic. And somebody that's involved with that, bro, let me tell you something. If somebody's involved with that dark magic, chances are the 99.9% of the time, they're a narc. See, to other people, they can swear up and down, oh yeah, they're love and light. They're this and that. But the devil wants to masquerade himself as the light. Because that's how he gets his way through manipulation, through manipulating the physical eyesight. Because once that spiritual vision is activated, it's game over. It's game over. That's why the third eye is in the Bible. And the devil knows that. The devil knows about that eye. And he also knows that eye is his weakness because he can't deceive God's vision. That's the facts. He cannot deceive God's vision because God gave you clairvoyant abilities for a reason. Because he knew how powerful you was going to be when you descended down here to this earthly realm. He sent you down here for a bigger purpose. He sent you down here to not look down on anybody else because, believe it or not, everybody has a third eye. Everybody has intuition. But it's up to people to learn their life lessons down here on Mother Earth in order to ascend spiritually. And some people are aware of intuition, some people aren't. But it's the ones that's not aware of intuitive, clairvoyant vision and insight are the ones that put themselves at risk of being easily manipulative bait to be hooked. And that's exactly what this individual tried to do to you, and yet it failed. It missed it. It missed it by a long distance because of what you've seen in the spirit world long before it even tried to manifest physically. So this individual been done missed you spiritually too. And the main reason why there was somewhat of a spiritual, they say a spiritual connection, but it was actually God connecting you to this individual's crown chakra to pick up what their intentions was toward you in order for you to combat what they was trying to manifest underhandedly in order to try to gain the control of power over you. So that right there is where it's going to expose their delusional perception of what they thought was the truth, but yet the illusion has amplified even stronger upon them because they're the only ones left with, at the end of the day, of a failed manifestation because it was done through manipulation. That right there is where you achieve the flawless victory. You achieve the flawless victory with little to no effort. Because the efforts that you possibly would have put in to a genuine connection would have gotten you with much more success than what this individual hasn't got. They haven't obtained it because their intent beyond trying to get something to go in their favor went against them because they was going against the universal flow and spiritual law frequency of that intent. And the spiritual law and universal law knows otherwise. That's why karmic law steps in and is served immediately. Because just like I said, bro, you ever heard that saying? Well, I'm sure y'all heard that only God can judge you because God's the judge and he has a spiritual angels in the heavenly realm that takes notes down. They take certain spiritual violations. They take it seriously because there's a spiritual law out there, bro. There's a universal law. Why you think they call it the laws of attraction? Because what you put out to the universe, like if you go out there, bro, and you do something that's in alignment with your soul's purpose, you're going to attract that frequency back to you. It's going to be mirrored right back to you. It may not happen all the time, but the majority of the time, if you pay attention to how you set your intention and what your intentions are genuinely, and you have that train of thought, that right there will mirror something about a mechanism that sends out to the universe and a spiritual law to where you have, like, you always know that you're protected, right? You always feel like you're protected. You always feel like you have some type of angelic protection. It's because subconsciously, spiritually, energetically, you believe that you're protected because the power of belief is the power to actually manifest what you want. But it's through physical manifestation also. By speaking it, by believing it, but also being a great person. You don't have to be all goody good and all that. You don't have to be perfect. But you have to know the perfect balance between the light and the dark side that will represent the yin and the yang. The yin and the yang symbolism. So that right there is what separates, but there has to be a balance between both ends of the spectrum. And when you find that perfect balance, the Lord will give you that much respect, that much more respect, and rank you up in the spiritual world. And you will have your ranking spiritually. Okay? You don't need none of this in the physical world to be a powerful person. Okay? So when it comes to obeying energetic, universal, and spiritual law, you automatically are protected on the spiritual, energetic realms of dimensions. That's what that is. Okay? But to the one out there, to the ones that has went through a situation where somebody was trying to get your attention, I've been guided to let you know that that's not going to go through. It's not going to work. The individual can ignore it all they want, but the truth is the truth, and the truth will continuously haunt the individual until they either associate with you, own up to their wrongdoings, and actually confront and admit the fact that they're wrong. But if this is a narc, they're not going to do that because they have zero intention on contacting you, because the whole point in getting you to contact them was to get this type of chase thing, to irritate, to aggravate, to anger you. But yet you already knew the intent beyond what they was trying to do. You already knew that they was going to do something purposely in order to try to give off the illusion as rejection, but they're rejected. They themselves fear that the most, which is why they clearly haven't associated with you. So in reality, who got rejected? They did. By them refusing to take accountability, that's rejection right there from you, rejecting them. It's like no matter what this individual tries to do to try to one up, they're not going to win because they're already defeated. It's already been defeated. This is a fairly new person for some of you out there, and this was meant to teach the individual a lesson. It wasn't to hurt the individual, but the individual had intentions apparently to try to hurt you, but yet it backfired. It backfired. Because you're emotionally stable, you're spiritually stable, you're energetically stable, and you have stability when it comes to the range of your emotions because you're not emotionally invested in the situation in order for you to be hurt because you already dealt with situations like that in the past. This individual clearly does not understand that. They have no awareness. And they may be questioning, how come you're okay? How come you're not affected by it? It's because they themselves are affected. And they want you to also be affected. That way they can feel as if they got something over on you to where they can feel powerful. Because they clearly have given their power away that they did have. The little bit of power they did have or what they thought they did is literally bringing a lot of weakness out of this individual, bro. Like you literally have pulled, it's almost like rinsing your mouth with salt water and drawing infection out of your mouth. Like, you know how when you rinse your mouth and you have like sore throat or something, you got your tonsils, they may be swollen or they may be pus around the tonsils, your glands, and yet you squish it with salt, or you may have like a sore or something and you soak it in warm salt water and it cleans and draws the infection out. That's exactly what you're doing to this individual. It's an analogy. You're drawing this individual's weakness straight up out of them without even doing anything to do it. Just by being silent, just by obeying the spirit world, and just by acknowledging the fact of what they try to do. You literally have the power. So if this individual was looking to try to do all this, it's just going to backfire even harder. It's going to put them even more guilty. It's going to make them feel even more guilty. And yet there's nothing that's going to happen because you already are aware that they have zero intention on communicating with you. Zero intention. Because their intention from the jump was to try to gain control of power over you by getting you to communicate and associate with the individual. So is it really a genuine connection? Do they really care? Do they really have all this love and care like they try to make themselves out to be? No, they do not, because if they did, they would be right there by your side. So how is it a genuine spiritual, I'm going to put it in quote unquote, spiritual genuine connection? It's simply not. because their intention beyond trying to connect with you was in order to try to take your power from you in order to feel better about themselves. That would be the ego. That would link it straight to false enlightenment of spirituality. And that right there would find them guilty of magic. And magic is exactly what it sounds like, illusions. So if they thinking they're going to get the truth and reality with an illusion, that's what the universe clearly backfired in their face. Because they can't have you. They can't have you. They cannot have you. Because the universe and the spirit realm disapproves of this individual's intentions. So therefore, it's blocked. That's why you're not affected by what they try to do, which is to try to get your attention. So therefore, you're okay. But this individual clearly is not. 111, as I'm saying, I just changed to 112. I just seen it on the stove. So whoever this is going to continuously go around and around and around and around and around with themselves. And they're the only ones left for themselves at the end of the day. And the reason why they struggle with this type of insecurity is because they're not faced with strong-spirited, strong-minded individuals that can't be manipulated. So, of course, they're going to run off to people that they could just get attention from, manipulate, try to look to control. And yet what it does is it makes them feel like it gives off the illusion as if they're a powerful person. But how come they don't feel that way around you? Is because you have the power. But it's all about a power struggle to the individual. And that right there is not healthy at all. Because in reality, it's weakness. It's weakness they're revealing, bro. By them not associating with you and apologizing or actually coming through with any form of intention to be genuine to you, it's actually revealing their weaknesses. And it's going to be used against them because that right there is going to be the death of the ego. I'm telling you. That right there will trigger an ego transformation, which would be the death and rebirth of an ego. Because their soul alignment and the egotistical perspective, the ego is restricting their spiritual growth and spiritual path. And whatever this individual is trying to do is not going to affect you, affect your stability, or affect anything when it comes to your livelihood. It's only going to backfire and affect them. And that right there is something that they should have been paying attention to, but yet they clearly are still avoiding the fact that they're wrong. And you're actually right. And you being guided to stand hard in your truth. I don't care how stubborn this individual thinks they are. You need to continuously stand in your power and ignore and keep on moving ahead in your life. You don't give any energy. You don't give this energy any attention. You don't give this type of vibrational frequency any attention. You keep on moving forward in your life. And I promise you, you will see massive results. You will see massive results. Let me go ahead and brighten the screen, y'all. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Just to have a little light in here, you know what I'm saying? That's better. To lighten up the energy, okay? But anyways, it's like I was saying before. You are being guided to continuously move forward on your spiritual path and to continuously be in your power. And whoever this is will be faced with the consequences of what they try to do. So as far as this individual knows, they think that they could find better. They think that they could do better, but yet, how come you're the best? They only think that. I'm going to tell you right now, bro. How is somebody the best when they could manipulate the individual that they think is the best? How is that being the best? I'm going to tell you what the best is. It's only the best to them because they feel like they're in control and have the power. So, of course, they're going to feel like it's the best because the real deal and genuine deal is the one that can't happen to, because they first, how can I say this? First off, you don't see a relationship or a spiritual compatibility or a spiritual ship as something to try to have power over. You both come together genuinely with an equal give and take, and you associate with each other and actually give each other y'all time. But what was done with the underhanded intention was to try to take advantage of your generosity spiritually. Take advantage of your energy, your energetic generosity. And that right there, the spirit realm and spiritual law does not agree with. It's a violation. So therefore, when a violation has been committed in the spirit world, the Lord writes that up. That is a spiritual write-up that has been done on that individual, because that's another form of karma they're going to be faced with for betraying the spirit world. And it's not up to you to wait on this individual's karma to come back around to them. It's for you to teach the lesson and to gladly move forward and succeed with that victory. If somebody's looking to want to just try to play a game, that right there would be the egotistical perspective of the third dimensional existence of that low vibrational energy. Because it's all to do with false power. See, people can perceive power in different forms. There's plenty of different ways power can be perceived. But the main thing that this individual is perceiving it from is the false side. Because that is not powerful at all. With how their perception is seeing things. With how they're observing things, how they're seeing through. That right there, bro, that's not the proper perception to have. But everybody does indeed have a different perception. And when it comes to somebody that's a challenge, you're coming across as annoying to the individual. They're annoyed. Why are they annoyed? I'm going to tell you why. Because you're not there making them feel good about themselves. And you being smart is highly intimidating and annoying to this individual. Just like I said, much rather be smart and to know certain things and to be wise than to be somebody that could be easily manipulated and discarded like a trash can. You ain't no damn dumpster or trash can. You're not no doormat, and you're not going to be controlled like a puppet. You're not going to be controlled on some type of string or be walked all over. So you much rather annoy the individual than to be turned off by them, right? Or than to be turned off by you. Because in reality, they may claim that they don't like you. They don't like that. They're annoyed by your strong personality. But I'm going to tell you right now, they know they can't disrespect you. You put this individual so much in their place, but they know they wouldn't stand a chance of disrespecting you because you don't put up with disrespect. I'm telling you. Why do you think this individual is bored with the rest of them? Why do you think that they could just have their little fun, however long that lasts, and yet they bored again? Why is that? Because it's all a game. It's all a game. The adrenaline feel-good endorphins of the brain, the feel-good endorphins of the mind, like once those chemicals are released within the brain, it can only feel good for a certain amount of time until they need. It's like they need that extra dosage again in order to release it again. Because it's an addiction. It's an addiction of the feel-good endorphins being released because it's a form of an adrenaline rush. I'm telling you, bro, I studied psychology for a long time. I've even studied my own brain to understand how the chemicals really operate, bro. But just like I said, I don't know everything. But I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this form of addiction on that feel-good endorphin released that gives them that, it just gives them that boost of energy, something like a sugar rush or an adrenaline rush. That makes you feel good for a certain amount of time until it just goes away. It fades away. But there comes a point in time to where you feel like you need it again. For instance, like nicotine, for instance. You know how it's addictive, or caffeine. It's addictive. You feel good whenever you're drinking caffeine, like a Coke or something. Like you feel good whenever you're drinking Dr. Pepper or Coke or whatever it may be. And yet a little while later, you're craving it again. That's exactly what it is. It's an addiction. It's an addiction in order to trigger the feel-good endorphins, because that right there is what fuels the ego with just this boost of new beginnings. But it's in a very toxic type of way. But the ego perceives it as healthy. That right there is the unhealthy perception. That can clearly be seen without the physical eyesight, because the physical eyes can never see the truth. The physical eyes can only be the observers of what the third eye sees as the truth, because that's the seer. The eyes are the observers. That's just the way I perceive the information, y'all, from wisdom, from experience. Everybody's going to have a different belief. That's fine. Okay, everybody has a right to their own beliefs. But I'm just speaking very strongly. I may come across as a very outspoken individual, but at the same time, I'm humble enough to know that I don't know everything, that I learn things every day, and information is indeed infinite because it goes on forever. You will never stop learning information because it's always infinite, okay? But the energy that I've experienced personally and these type of situations, that right there was a learning experience for me, which gave me the experience in order to speak on it from that experience, which is knowledge, having knowledge on the situations. And just like I said, bro, I may come across as if I know everything, but it's just because of how confident I am from the experiences that I had in order to deliver this helpful information and advice to you, okay? But once again, I'm humble enough to know that I don't know everything. It's a fact proven. I do not know everything. I only know information that I learned from, indeed, once again, experience. And ignorance would be things that you haven't learned, that you have no knowledge on. You have to first have knowledge on something in order for that ignorance to disappear. Because ignorance is not bad. Ignorance means you don't know something. You don't have knowledge on something. But when you have knowledge on it, therefore, it completely dissolves the ignorant vibration. It dissolves the ignorance from being there because you have then learned the knowledge. So therefore, the ignorance, there's no room for ignorance to be there because it's fulfilled with that knowledge that you just now learned. Y'all see what I'm saying? But anyways, y'all, I'm glad that I could provide y'all with some helpful advice, a helpful, inspirational speech. Even though y'all really can't see me on camera, I really don't feel like being on camera right now, y'all. But I feel like I could get my channeling done a lot better like this. I mean, it could be on and off, you know. Sometimes I go outside in the sunlight. That's when it works the best, to be honest with you, you know. But anyways, I'm glad that I could deliver y'all this advice, this helpful information. And just like I said, y'all, there's a lot to learn out there. But a lot of you out there has literally taught some type of individual, whoever this may be, that tried to not really have you in their life. Because if they really wanted you in their life, you think they'd be there? They would. There's no doubt about it. They will be in your life. What is making it so hard for this individual to be in your life? They themselves is making it hard. And that right there is exactly what's reversing onto them and making their life hard, because they tried something that wasn't in alignment with your spiritual path, and therefore literally backfired, and it's gaining them. It's like their perspective is being shifted unexpectedly in the most uncomfortable way of all time, because of how much you're bringing awareness to the situation or what they thought you didn't know, but you knew all this time, because you knew it on a spiritual level long before it even tried to manifest physically. So therefore, you was aware 500,000 steps ahead of time. So when it comes to them trying to receive some type of underhanded victory with the Five of Swords, it literally is in reverse with the Seven of Swords in reverse, and yet you have the Five of Swords. They have no choice but to walk away and accept defeat. Seven of Swords in reverse, and yet you reverse the situation on them, which would be the Seven of Swords. But that is flipped up in reverse, and yet you're in the Five of Swords energy with that look, as I say that, hey, you disarm them of their mental manipulation, spiritual mental manipulation, which would be energetic, spiritual mental manipulation of telepathic, false telepathy that they thought was a legit spiritual connection, but yet little did they know you had the ability to connect to their crown chakra, to pick up whenever they would try to have certain intentions towards you in order to gain that clarity that they possibly thought that you didn't know, but yet you knew all that time. Because if it was a true legit spiritual connection, the individual would be in your life. But where they at? Question that, where they at? Where they at? Nowhere is around you. That right there proves my point. Once again, that's the facts that back it up. Because if it was a true legit connection that they wanted so badly, like they try to present to wherever this individual is in the spirit world or whatever, however they tried to get you in their life, still didn't work, because something, whatever they tried to work, was working against you, but yet that mirrored it right back to them, which is working against them. It's not going to manifest. It's not going to manifest because it's not in alignment with your spiritual path. And whatever spiritual path this individual is on, whatever spiritual path that they're on, they're heading for a downfall on that. And I'm not trying to say that in a negative way, it's just the truth. But they're only going to achieve and receive success with people that are clearly unaware. Because why you think it's not working with you? Because you're way too smart for it. And that right there, you could come across as very boring. You could come across as very boring. Good, you want them to be bored with you, because therefore they'll leave you alone. They'll go somewhere else. That right there would excuse them completely out of your energy. To stop trying to connect with you and stop trying to do that because nothing works. So that right there is in your best interest. That right there works out for you the best. Because no matter what they try, and exactly what I'm saying, no matter what they try, notice how I'm saying try, because they can't do it. They can't do it because the Lord has them blocked. They can't do it. All they can do is reject the truth, ignore the truth, and to try to present themselves or to present the situation as if it wasn't like that, when they know deep down it clearly was, and they already are aware that it was like that. They're just feeling played because the plan to try to gain control and power over you, which was the intent from the beginning, with no genuine intentions on connected to you genuinely, has failed. So of course, the only other option is to try to underhandedly again use deception and manipulation to avoid the simple truth of what they try to do, but backfired. That right there is some more evidence against them on a spiritual realm. It's easy, it's incredibly easy to deny the truth. But yet when it comes to somebody that's a challenge, that right there is where there's zero compatibility at, because you're challenging in the right type of way. Being deceptive like that, bro, doing things like that, it's not going to get genuine results. And some of these individuals, whoever this is, they may think highly of themselves. They may think that they're above you. That's the most delusional train of thought I've ever heard or I've ever spoken a day of my life, due to their intent beyond what they're trying to do in order to try to gain power and control, because they see you as a threat. They see you as somebody that they could have just, maybe they perceived you the wrong way, as you was easy enough to take advantage of, but yet you're not. So that right there, how are they above you? How are they above you when they're trying to drag you down to their level by trying to get you to conversate with them? I'm going to check them on that too. I'm going to check that real quick. How are they above you? How is it possible that they are above you whenever they the ones trying to reach your level by trying to get you to stoop down to theirs through underhanded tactics of manipulation? How are they better than you and above you? I could care less how they look. Because looks could be deceiving. Exactly what I'm calling out, because the energy determines and distinguishes differently from the looks. Because something could look good don't mean that it is good. I'm going to call it how I see it. I'm going to call it exactly how I see it. I'm going to let them see what it's really like to be in front of a mastermind that knows exactly what the fuck's going on. Because sometimes when they think they're challenged, they haven't been challenged like they really need to be challenged. Because they need the real deal. They need that lion energy. I don't know why I keep on channeling lion energy. I don't know why. Maybe some of you could be a Leo. Some of this you could be a Leo, and somebody tried to mess with a Leo like this, and you're indeed a fixed sign. I can understand that fixated nature. So you may be a Leo that could have went through this. You already know what it is. There's a reason why I've been channeling that lion energy. And believe it or not, bro, I don't have no Leo on my chart or none of that. Okay, like a Leo rise, Leo, I don't have none of that. But there's a reason why I'm channeling the lion energy, is because a lion don't have to go out there and roar to prove a point. The lion is going to be chilled out, minding its own business. When it's hungry, it's going to eat, but it's not going to be all aggressive. The main reason what triggers a lion to become aggressive is when there's something in its territory that it picks up. If it picks up fear, or somebody that is just gives off the vibration that makes that lion uncomfortable, that's when it's going to become aggressive. And it's going to become alerted, because animals can sense intentions and energy because they're spiritual. That's why. Animals have a sixth sense, bro, an incredibly strong sixth sense, especially lions and stuff like that. And I know people perceive them as to be the aggressors, overly aggressive, mean. But at the same time, how come some of these individuals out there, these zookeepers or whoever they are, can literally go out there and pet a lion and actually have no problem, and yet the lion would just rub their head against them or whatever, and just, do whatever? How come the lion don't have a problem with the person petting them? Because they know that individual's intentions, because the individual don't fear the lion, and the lion has respect for them. Because when that fearful energy is around, it's going to trigger that panicky. Like I'm telling you, but I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, it's that fearful energy that triggers that lion's instinctive mode of attack. I'm telling you, that's exactly what triggers that attack mode. It don't have to be a bad person. The individual don't have to have ill intentions, but it's that fearful vibrational energy that triggers the attack mode of that lion. Therefore, the lion goes into attack mode because it feels uncomfortable energy and it's stemming from fear. And the lion don't like that. They don't like that. When some people could just walk up to a lion out there and literally have enough respect for the lion as to say, look, they don't have to tell the lion they're not there to harm them. They could just walk up to the lion and say, hey, buddy, come see, buddy. Come see, buddy. And talk to the lion like they would a dog. As I said, what you doing, buddy? What you doing? You know what I'm saying? But they give off the energy as to have the lion feel calm in the presence of them. Have the lion feel in a calm state of mind to where they don't have anything to be concerned about, and to know that they're perfectly okay in the presence of the individual. That's all that it takes for that lion to be calm. I mean, it may take a little more, experience around lions and animals like that, because, you got to be experienced when it comes to that. But I'm just speaking what my intuitive nudges are guiding me to speak on, okay? I'm not saying go out there and do all that. I'm just saying But that is some form of facts right there where the fear, something about a fear mechanism triggers animals to become aggressive and attack. I don't know what it is about that, but when something is fear, if you ever pay attention to somebody being fearful of a dog, that dog starts growling, and if somebody takes off running, the dog's gonna chase them. It's just an automatic reaction from the animal's instinctive nature because they sense something off and something wrong. So some of you out there, you may be a Leo. You may be Leo the lion. That would be the Leo. Lion is the Leo. And as a fixed sign, I may not know y'all like that because I'm not a Leo or whatever. But when it comes to the fixated nature of being in a fixed energy, to where you are very aware and hypervigilant of your surroundings, and you know whenever you're fixated in your ways, not meaning that you're egotistical or none of that, but when you're very fixated in your ways, you know what is going on, and you definitely know how to stand your ground. Because when it comes to trying to manipulate you as a fixed element, it's impossible, bro. It's impossible. I don't know how many times people have tried it. That's other signs, which it really don't matter about that. But they've had several of people talk about how the fixed signs are just, they will label us as toxic, too stubborn or whatever. I'd rather be too stubborn, bro, than easily manipulative bait to be put on the line. Nope. I'm going to challenge that real quick. I'm going to continuously out stubborn and challenge it over and 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 over. And I'm going to win. I'm going to win. It ain't no if. I know I'm going to win. I'm already a winner when it comes to that energy. Because if something is in alignment with my highest good, it will gradually gravitate my way, but we will meet in the middle. It's not this, oh, you have to come to me type of energy. No. If you give off signs and you show interest in me and you want to start a conversation and associate with me by saying hello, I will gladly conversate back, because that right there is meeting in the middle. You're not going to get my damn attention or get anything from me while having selfish purposes, selfish intentions, and trying to get something out of me to make themselves feel better, because I can intuitively read it like a book. And that's exactly what I will challenge, what I will reject, and I will push directly out my life and shut the door in their face on purpose, because what they're doing is simply not an accident. It's being done deliberately, and it was planned out in order to try to get something. If somebody has the intent to do that, to plan something like that, then that clearly states and determines their intentions right there off the bat. See, I can analyze that up, bro, in a matter of seconds. When somebody has the ability to plan by trying to gain something with selfish purposes and selfish intentions in order to gain something out of you for their own personal gain, the intent beyond it is already negative and evil. It's not good. Because they should be in it for the both of you. Why has it got to be all about them? That's what I'm a challenge. Why has it got to be about them? Simple as that. That's how you know that you're in the presence of a narcissist. Because everything revolves but you, because you don't revolve around them. You have your own life to live. You ain't there to be controlled, manipulated, or any of that for their personal gain. They can find that with the easy prey in another pond. Because last time I checked, you the water shark in the ocean. They be messing around with water sharks in the ocean and get completely disintegrated because of being in some type of unknown territory that had no business messing around in. Because I'm going to tell you right now what makes you a water shark. I'm going to label you a water shark. Whoever has this type of strength to combat these type of energies, you have earned the title of a water shark. You're a great white water shark. You're the one that sits there and senses when something is in the water. When something gets in that water that's not supposed to be there, and you see it as lunch, that's going to be the perfect digestion. That's going to be what's going to be digested, because that right there is food in your territory. You have food because it's a source of feeding. They're feeding you. And so in reality, they're giving you more power because of them putting themselves in a situation, but yet trying to flip it back as if they're going to win. How can I say this? It's like they're almost in this type of mentality as if just because they're in the ocean with the water sharks, the great white, that they can win by not having any, like they can have all these tactics, but how they don't know how that shark's going to react. See, in their mind, they think that they could do something to get away from the shark. But the shark has all kind of ways that they can do things in order to avoid something. I'm telling you. So in reality, what I'm saying is you have a little bit more experience and a little bit more intuition than the individual, and intellectual knowledge and wisdom, because you clearly learned this from somebody else that tried to mess around in your energy in the past. So in reality, it works out for your best interest. It works out for your highest good. But just like I said, the individual has no intentions on associating with you, which can represent communicating. They have no intentions on communicating with you or doing any of that. Some of these individuals could stop watching you or whatever, like on fake pages or whatever, they could stop watching. But I mean, they could watch on and off, but that's all on them. And I'm going to tell you why. That right there is going to find them even more guilty. They're even more guilty. But of course, they're going to try to come up with another scenario. Oh, well, they're not responding to you. They're not reaching out because they wasn't even into you or it wasn't even like that. Okay, how come they was watching you and try to get you all this time? That's another lie. They go, bro, it don't matter what this individual tries to do. They're caught in a narcissism way, I'm telling you. Manipulation stands no chance because it's false power and false energy that's not in alignment with the real deal. So therefore, the current of energy, the current genuine flow of energy will overpower it and take it down and dissolve it. It's a lose-lose situation. Admit defeat and give it up, bro. It's done. It's done. You messing with a fixed sign, whoever this is, it's done. Especially when it comes to the fixed elements. But I mean, you could be any sign out there that's well experienced at having to combat these energies. But when it comes to Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus, those are the 4 signs, 4 fixed signs to be exact. That is one hell of a challenge that will win over somebody trying to move them out their element, trying to move them out that fixed element. It ain't gonna happen, bro, I'm telling you. You could try. I'm going to stand up for the fixed signs. But it's not just about the zodiac sign, though. It's not just about the zodiac sign. It's about how much experience somebody had within their own spiritual and energetic and mental experience. It don't really rely back on the zodiac sign, but I've had experience with a few, like I've talked to a few fixed signs and they gave me their testimony and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. People trying to control them and they can't control them. I don't know what it is about that. You know? I know people's going to be people, but when it comes to the fixed element, you know, but just like I said, you could be any zodiac sign out there, any 12 zodiac signs. A zodiac sign doesn't define who you are. It's the energy beyond that vessel, which is multi-dimensional and multi-energetic dimensional energies that literally radiate at all kind of frequencies, and it's up and down. So it's literally your multi-energetic dimensional being beyond the vessel of that body. because you're not really the physical form. It's the energy that's beyond that body. That's why you have multi-personalities. Like sometimes you feel up and down when it comes to your mood. It's because your energy is continuously switching and transforming at the most randomest times. So that right there will break it down to how the energy continuously changing. It's continuously going up and down. It may change. So that right there is going to give it the definition of that multi-dimensional energy. Whether if it's negative energy sometimes, whether if it's positive, but it's all kind of fluctuating energies that are multi, which are representing more than one. That's multiple energies that fluctuate up and down. So therefore, would make it a multi-energetic being. Bro, believe it or not, this is what makes some of you out there a genius. If you're not aware that you're a genius, and if you feel like you resonate with this message, even though you may not be able to see me, you see this white screen, I just put it to the white screen like that to where it can raise the vibration. If some of you out there haven't acknowledged that you're a genius, let this message, if you resonate with this message right here, and you have defeated this type of energy, because that's all that it is. That's all that it is. It's just negative energy trying to get you to go against your own current flow of energy. That's basically what it is. It's basically like somebody going out there fishing in the river and the current's going a certain way, and yet them telling the current to go the exact opposite way of what the current wants to go. That current flow of energy, bro, that current in that river is going to flow exactly how it wants to flow. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's going to flow how it wants to flow. I'm telling you. If you don't like the way the current's going, then that's just too damn bad. If they don't like, that would be like a fisherman going out, which they're not going to do that. But let's say, for instance, I go out there, I start fishing, right? It's just an example. I go out there, or you go out there and start fishing, right? So let's say you go out there, you start fishing, and yet you don't like the way the current's going. The current's moving too fast. You have your own choice to reel your line in, to pick up all the tackle box or whatever, to pick up the rod and reel, the tackle box or whatever, and just head somewhere else to where the water's to where the water is much more calmer, because that river is going to flow how it wants to flow. It don't matter what somebody tells it. If somebody tries to jump in and swim against it, it's not going to work. I'm telling you, it's not going to. It's not. It's not. I'm telling you. And see, me being a fixed sign, y'all, coming from a Scorpio, me being a fixed element like that, I've had experience with trying to fight things that needed to change or transform. And you know what it did me? It tired me out. It made me energetically drained, and that's my own fault. This happened to me in the past. That's why I know what I'm talking about when it comes to current flow of energetic energy. That's exactly why I know what I'm talking about when it comes to trying to fight against something that just is going its own direction. And especially when it falls in alignment with spirituality and that universal law. Because universal law has a certain current of energy that will be fluctuating at its own pace. Okay? You can either choose to go with the flow, but if you choose to fight against the flow of energy, it's going to continuously drain and deplete, because it is doing the exact opposite of feeding your energy. What will be feeding your energy is you going along with the flow. There may be some kind of stagnancy here and there, but that's because the energy itself is having a few hang-ups. But yet at the same time, it's going to eventually adjust itself and get correct and correct itself. There may be a few rough patches within the current feeling like it's stagnant, right? But it's going to eventually correct itself. But you going along with the flow of the energy, it's really going to fuel your energy that much more. instead of fight against it. Because if you're swimming against a current, this right here is what makes sense in the physical reality. If you swim against a current, it's always going to win. The current is always going to win against you swimming against it. Because the current is that much more powerful. Because the current doesn't have, how can I explain this? That water, that body of water, that river, which is a body of water, right? That right there has all the energy in the world. It has all the time, all the energy in the world to flow, keep flowing a certain direction. But you, on the other hand, have only a certain amount of energy physically, that's in the physical form of the body, which will then manifest as physical fatigue, which will then therefore tire you out. You will be physically exhausted, which therefore will lead to tiredness. That will be lacking energy, but not just spiritually, but it will be physically. But water, on the other hand, that right there is Mother Earth. That's nature. That's fully nature. That's nature running its course right there. So that's where the difference is between that water and the physical vessel. Therefore will lead to physical symptoms of exhaustion. Okay? But anyways, y'all, I figured I'd give y'all this helpful advice and give y'all an inspirational speech. I thank y'all very much for tuning into my video and listening to what I had to say. But to the ones out there that have dealt with this type of energetic, how can I say this? Like somebody trying to do all this, it will get better. The individual don't have to admit that you're right, but you know that you're right, and you being guided to stand hard in your truth. Don't argue with the individual. I wouldn't even argue with the individual or any of that. I'll just keep on living my life. Because just like I said before, to me, they have no intention on speaking to you. Because they know that it's just a lose-lose situation. Simple as that. But it didn't have to go down that way. It didn't have to be that way. They made it that way because of what they tried to. They literally spoke. They literally manifested this to happen within themselves because of their ill intentions beyond not having genuine intentions towards you. So in reality, they manifested this to happen all the way from the jump, which is a waste of time on their end because it didn't affect you one bit. That's how it is, bro. It's the truth. If you still flowing in your energy, you still out there at your job, you still living your life, and you're not worried about this individual talking to you, then who it's affecting? You're out the picture. Because you was clearly aware of the intent on a spiritual, energetic level. Therefore, serves you with the protection that you're well deserving of spiritually, energetically, mentally. Therefore, keeps you detached from something that was looking to attach itself to you in order for you to attach yourself to some type of bait. The bait was in the water, right? This is an analogy. The bait was in the water. And it was looking for you to attach yourself to it in order for you to be reeled in. But guess what happened? That didn't happen. It didn't happen. Because you was aware that it was bait. You was aware that it was bait. It was bait in order to feed the false sense of self to the individual that thought that they could try to bait you. The bait was in order to bait you to feed the false sense of self. So they could feel good about so-called rejecting you and ignoring you. But that's an illusion in itself. Because all this time, that wasn't what was going on. This is how the illusional perception of how they perceive things is what's being seen. from your perception beyond duality. Because you see beyond both frequencies. You see beyond all these energies that are scattered. But you still have that level-minded perception to see exactly what needs to be seen in order to remain balanced. And that right there is the end of the message. But anyways, y'all take it easy out there. Much love to y'all. Thank y'all very much for the love, support. I greatly appreciate that. If y'all want to leave any donations, I will have my Cash App link in the description box below. If y'all felt like this advice resonated with you, if this message resonated with you, I will indeed have my Cash App link if y'all want to donate to the channel to help me out, y'all. Thank y'all very much for y'all love and support, y'all continuous love and support. It's greatly appreciated. I'm glad that y'all could take advice and helpful information from my content. And just like I said, it's not going to resonate with everybody. But to the ones that it does resonate with, then you have helpful information that can literally help you advance on a spiritual level and help you advance when it comes to your intellectual knowledge. Because being intellectual and being wise is two different things. But when you blend both together along with spiritual wisdom, it's always going to make you a dangerous individual. Just like I said before. So stay that individual, bro. Stay that spiritually enlightened, that wise, intellectual individual. Because it's going to get you a ways, and it's also going to prevent situations like this from occurring in your life, simply from you not feeding into it. Peace.